Mommispace, a place where you can remember who you are in the midst of it all. This podcast gives moms of all stages a voice to share their experiences and the truth that there is no right way to mom.
Here we go. Here we go. The arms that hold you now bring a fire. The arms that hold you now bring a fire.
Welcome back to Mommispace. This is Bree, and welcome to today's episode. This is a special bonus episode that I'm very excited to share with you, and it actually falls in line with this past month's theme covering foster care and adoption. So I'm very excited to share this episode with you. I've had the privilege of doing a bonus episode last month with JJ Heller. If you haven't listened to that one, be sure to go check it out. I'm just so thankful that I've been able to do this with people that are kind of walking out their process of motherhood while pursuing the things that they feel called to and are excited about and passionate about. So I hope this brings you some encouragement today. Just a little housekeeping before we begin. March starts season 3 of the podcast, which will feature the hard stuff. So these are conversations I'm having with moms who have been through really traumatic events with their children. We are going to talk about circumcision. That's one of the things that I got a lot of feedback on via Instagram. So I'm talking to a specialist on that. Someone who's in the medical field and has a lot of understanding around all of that. So that's going to be cool. Anyways, I also wrote another song for that season, like I've done for each season so far. So be sure to look out for that. I'm excited to share it with you. I really feel like it's going to be something that will be healing and just sweet to listen to if you're going through a hard season or you feel like you need some uplifting music in your life. So I hope you enjoy that. Also, be sure to tune in on Instagram at Mommispace if you're not already following. I'm starting something kind of fun. I'm doing a giveaway every week with a product that either you have suggested on Instagram or one of the moms on our past episodes have suggested that have helped them in their motherhood journey. So be sure to check that out. And yeah, I think that's it. Love you guys. You're amazing. Without further ado, here is the bonus episode. Welcome back to Mommispace. This is Bree, and today I'm here with Lindy Conant. I am so excited to have you on the show today. I got to meet you just kind of in passing at Anaheim Vineyard a couple weeks back, and then I kind of hopped on social media and started following you and saw that you were in the middle of this foster care journey, and I was so excited because that's what I'm featuring this month, and I thought it would be worth reaching out to talk to you, and I'm so grateful that you said yes. So yeah, I'm just so excited to hear your story. But before we kind of dive in, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, family life, home life, what you do for work, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so my name's Lindy. I'm actually a YWAMer. So I've been in YWAM, which is Youth with a Mission, for 10 years. After high school, I asked my parents if I could take a gap year because I felt like I hadn't really encountered God for myself and was just, I wouldn't say hungry. I was more curious, like, what's God really like? And so I just felt really like, I want to do missions for a year and just see what happens. And ended up going to YWAM Kona, and it flipped my whole world around. I did a discipleship training school, and it just changed the whole, like, it changed the whole direction of my life, because at the end of the day, how you meet Jesus is, it's kind of how you want to spend the rest of your life with him, you know? So it was just this powerful collision of really understanding the power of the cross, the power of Jesus, and then also seeing the power of missions and evangelism, you know, being in YWAM. So then what happened was I started leading worship at YWAM Kona, because you don't really go to YWAM to do music. It's not like if you're pursuing music, you don't go to YWAM. So there was just a need. And so I started doing that. And then now, like, next thing I know, I'm traveling, leading worship, passionate about raising up bands. We have 10 bands on the road right now on a tour called Carry the Love, on college campuses all across America. And so that's a little bit of what I do. So I'm just heavily involved in the music side of YWAM and
Wow.
love it and have a blast doing it. And it's so exciting to see what God's doing in the nations. But
Wow.
um, a very long story short was, my husband and I have always had such a passion for kids. And even like before, we knew each other for a long time. We were friends before we got married. And it was just this strong conviction we had. We had no idea the Lord would call us to it in America first, though,
Hmm.
before moving overseas. So it's been an exciting journey. But yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, well, why don't you kind of dive in then? Tell us kind of an overview of your motherhood journey. And if that
Yeah.
kind of ties into your foster care story, go for that too. Just dive in.
Yeah. Yeah. So my motherhood journey is very new. It's let's just over a month into it. I say I'd always have a heart to, in a sense, discipleship is mothering. So I've always carried that side of it, had a heart for seeing people know Jesus. And then it kind of turned into like, man, my husband and I, we'd been married for 2 years and we'd just been praying and felt, it's time to start a family. And then we both kept having dreams about adoption. And we were like,
Wow.
no, 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 we're not supposed to do that first. We thought like,
Wow.
oh, maybe the Lord wants us to like adopt a people group or a neighborhood or,
Yeah.
and so long story short, we love just pursuing God's presence and his voice. And we just really welcome the voice of the Lord. Like, just lead us, give us clarity.
Mm.
It was undeniable. The Lord was giving us an invitation to walk into foster care and adoption first. So
Wow.
what happened was we went, okay, we want to adopt. That's just what we want to do. So we looked at a few adoption agencies and we had no peace. And we were like, what is this? Why do we have no peace?
Mm.
And that's when the Lord began to tug on our hearts about foster care and being
Wow.
willing to take responsibility for the broken in our nation, the brokenness in our nation, even if we didn't cause it. That we would
Wow.
be a part of the answer and the solution to
Yes.
children who need caregivers to love them, to hold them, to speak life into them. And so
Mm.
a lot of our friends and leaders had gone before us and done it. One of our leaders in YWAM, Andy Bird, they started doing foster care, and we were like,
Wow.
whoa. So we had a lot of friends that almost normalized it.
Wow.
Because I feel like growing up, foster care was kind
Yeah.
of like, oh, like those are the really bad kids. And that's such a
Yeah.
lie. It's
Yeah.
such a stigma from the enemy. It's just completely false.
That's so
So,
good.
yes, do kids in foster care, do sometimes they come with certain issues or certain because of neglect and different
Right.
things? Absolutely. But that should never be a reason for us to shy away. So, my motherhood journey quickly, like it just accelerated. We went, man, let's do this. Let's
Yeah.
take the classes. And we got approved December 4th. And we picked up our baby from the NICU December 21st. So he was
Wow.
he was 17 days old. He was actually born the day we got approved, which is
Oh
fun.
my
But
gosh.
I
Wow.
know it's awesome. So it's been amazing. It's been a journey, a learning curve because, as a mother's heart, we're all made like Jesus formed us to mother, to have a brave love that brings life. And like literally, we bring life into the earth. And when you step into foster care, you're saying, I'm going to love this baby as my own.
Mm.
And then, in our situation, we are walking with the mom, we do visits with the mom. And so it's this interesting
Mm.
line of, I'm going to love this baby with all that I have,
Yeah.
and I'm going to love his birth mom. And I'm going to walk these visits out with courage and love towards her. And your only option is trust. That's it.
Wow.
Because if you don't trust the Lord, you will just get in a frenzy of how will this end? Well, what if I give this baby my whole heart? And
Wow.
I feel like that's not, yeah, what if you do?
Yeah.
What if you give this baby your whole heart and you lose him? You don't
Mm.
lose anything. He leaves with a heart full of love and compassion and confidence to go back into reunification with his mom.
Wow.
So that's kind of a little bit of my motherhood journey. Is I feel like it's just beginning. We
Yeah.
learned so much. We love our little guys so much. I'm like,
Oh,
oh, I didn't even know this kind of love was possible.
wow.
So it's been a whirlwind, especially taking the step of obedience
Mm.
to go, all right, Lord, we'll do this first before we have our own
Wow.
biological kids.
Wow.
And knowing that that's still just as precious and just as beautiful. And just as, it's like Jesus looks at that and he's like, this is my kid. This is my
Yep.
child. I made
Yep.
this baby. So,
Wow, that's
yeah.
amazing. It's so interesting. I had the privilege of talking to a girlfriend of mine from like middle school, just like couple months ago. She and her husband felt called to do the same thing, and they're currently like in the process they're fostering to adopt 3 little babies. They felt like they were
Oh,
supposed to do that before having their own, and I was um, just so overwhelmed with like, oh, like, yeah, that totally makes sense. Like it just seems like kind of a no-brainer. Like if that's where the Lord's like
yeah.
pulling your heart, like it's true. Like they're still people. They still need the same kind of love like a biological child would need. And yeah, wow, that's just so amazing. One of the things I've been excited to ask mamas going through this journey is what's something that you would want to like educate people on who have little to no knowledge of the foster care and adoption systems?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say, first and foremost, know what you feel called to. So we knew
Mm,
if we will take a baby 4 and under, and then know for sure, are you wanting to just adopt? Or are you wanting to embrace the full-on foster care side of things?
mm,
And those things are important to know because some things can end up being a 2-year process. Because when you're saying yes to foster care, you really are saying yes to, I want to try to walk a journey of this child being reunified with their birth parents.
mm,
So there's the beautiful side of it, the glamorous side of it, the heroic side of it. That's like, I'm fostering,
yeah.
I'm rescuing this child from a horrible situation. When in reality, yes, that's heroic, but it's just as heroic to love the parents
Mm,
and want to see them come
yes.
into who they are and be free of whatever they're dealing with, whatever the reason is their child was taken from their home. So
Mm.
I would say, and again, I'm a rookie, so I'm not like over here, like I'm just full of wisdom. But what I have learned in the short time we've been doing it is I'm so grateful that my husband and I were locked in on what we felt called to do and the certain situations we felt to say yes to. Because then when it gets hard and visits are
Mm,
hard, giving this baby your heart, you can rest and like, no, I choose this.
that's
I
right.
choose this baby. I choose this life. I choose this. I chose this. So
Yeah.
God, you're with me, and and just trusting and being in that place. So I would say that would be my biggest piece of advice. And then of course, you'll always walk the line of people around. Some people will fully embrace your foster children. Some people won't know how to do it, and it's just to never be affected by that. You just always
Mm,
operate in love towards your child, like they are your own. And that's why they're in your home. That's why they've been placed there,
yeah.
because you've been proven to be a caregiver, which means you've been put in this child's life to bring healthy structure, love,
Yeah.
compassion, all that stuff. So I would just say, yeah, the biggest thing is knowing where you feel like, man, this is my capacity and I feel confident
Mm,
in this. Because what you wouldn't want to do is go, I'm a hero. I'm going to take a sibling set of 5
yeah.
and
Yeah.
da da da. And then 3 weeks later, you're going, I can't do it, because
Mm,
when the rubber meets the road, there's cost involved, there's
yeah.
sacrifice involved, and it's one of the most beautiful, rewarding things. But there's a reality to it. So
Yeah. Wow, that's a fresh perspective. I really appreciate that. I think yeah, just that whole
yeah,
idea of like counting the cost. And I also have other mamas share like if you don't feel called to do it in this way right now, there are so many other ways you can participate and like support. And
yes,
I really love
yes,
that. Like
yes.
what are some things that like kind of come to mind when you think about that? Like other ways mamas could like support this area?
Yeah, I would say a big one is just offering help. So practical help is when someone brings a kid into foster care, they don't have a lot of preparation for the age. Or we were really blessed by our community because we said we would take 4 and under. We ended up getting a newborn. So you basically run by Target and get a car seat on the
Yeah.
way to the hospital. So I think being aware if people are fostering around you, find out what they need. Find out what they need.
Mm,
And we experienced just an outpouring of love from our community. And our caseworker was even like, man, this is
mm.
so rare. Like, more people in your community should foster, because this was beautiful to watch. And we felt that. We felt
Aw.
that love. It was like we had a pop up newborn apartment because everyone just went, oh, we can help you. We can bring everything over that we're not using.
Wow.
And it really, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. I think another thing is just offering help, because when you are taking care of someone else's child that you don't know if you're going to get to adopt or not, I think processing is always good for the parents. And I understand,
Mm,
like, of course, you die to yourself in parenthood, but like for me,
mm,
I just have a girl that offered, like, hey, I'll just hold him for 45 minutes while you can just go like get time in the Word and just be with
mm.
God, and that is like makes a
Wow.
huge difference. So I think don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to, and I think that's how other people go, hey, I don't feel called to foster care right now, but I want to be a part of the solution, and the answer
Mm,
is the practical giving of your time and resources is so huge and goes such a long way. And of course, that constant
that's,
encouragement. Like, we've received so much encouragement from people. And honestly, on days when it's hard, you hold on to that. So I would,
mm,
if I could sum it up in one word, it would just be don't withhold. So
mm.
don't, if someone's fostering and you're like, I don't know how to relate with them, or I don't really know how to interact, just fight through those thoughts. That would be the number one thing, is just go, oh man, how can I help? How can I be a part of this baby's life? So
Mm.
yeah.
That's so powerful. I love that. Thank you. And you're gonna have to forgive me. I forget if you said this earlier. Where are you guys at right now in regards to this whole process? Are you guys wanting to foster to adopt? Or are you in the space of like, we're here as an open home to try and reunite kids to their parents? Like, where are you at right now with that stuff?
Yeah, so we're both. So we are
Okay.
foster to adopt, adopt. This we actually got two calls before our placement. We got our baby boy, and it was for adoption. We just didn't get picked. And so when we got the
Wow.
call for this little guy, it was to pick him up that night at the from the hospital. And we knew, they said it wasn't like, mom. We knew mom wanted to try to you know like see if she can push through and
Yeah.
get him back. So right now we're walking that journey. Of course, if it ever came to the point where he would be up for adoption, we would be thrilled, but we're also
Mm.
just as thrilled about reunification. So with
Wow.
the case we have right now, that's where we're at, but we are so open to anything.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What this kind of just came to mind as you're sharing that, like, what is maybe a piece of advice, or maybe something that you have kind of realized as you're walking this out, being open to the mama, like you were talking about before, like loving on the mama in the reunification process? Like, what has that looked like for you, and just processing all of that?
Yeah, I think what helped me is just to go, man, what's best for our baby boy is, at the end of the day, it's what's best for him. So
Mm,
as much as so we've had to learn, like, oh, sometimes love doesn't look like just going, oh, that's okay that you're not showing up. No,
mm,
love looks like, hey, like, you need to get time with your son.
mm,
And ultimately it's about this baby. It's about this baby. And so I think for me, when I realized, like, man, if I make decisions based on his health and him being taken care of and loved, it helped me make those decisions more wisely
mm.
as I'm walking this out with,
Yeah.
um, so many different moving parts. Because that's the truth. When you walk into foster care, you are saying yes to a baby, and you're saying yes to everything that comes with this precious life.
Wow.
And it's beautiful. And it's like the most chaotic, beautiful mess, but it's so worth it. But
Mm,
I think what keeps everything plumb line is to go, no, what's best for him? And then you kind of filter it through there, and you go, okay, then we're going to have to rearrange these things, or, hey, we're not going to talk this way,
mm.
or, stuff like that. It helps you create safe boundaries in the context of reunification when the focus is on the baby boy. So,
That's so good. Keeping that perspective on the baby and his needs. I think that kind of makes it, in a way, like more simple,
yeah,
which I think is really important,
totally.
especially in that whole process. Wow. Awesome. Okay. Well, I love to kind of wrap up with asking if you wouldn't mind sharing a low and high of your journey thus far.
Yes. The high is by far just, I mean, you become an instant mom. There's the movie Instant Family, and we went and saw that like the week before we got our baby. And it's
Oh.
so funny because we were like, oh my goodness. Honestly, there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like welcoming a baby into your home. So the highs have been like, you learn them, you learn their cries, you learn like you're starting to learn he's 2 months old now. And it's like, you just start to learn it. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is a gift. Like, I really get to be the hands and feet of Jesus. The lows are moments where you go, I might not have you forever. And I have just sat at my kitchen table, and I honestly can't go there all the way, because I just have to live in the present and in the moment. But I'd say that would be the lows are definitely when you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna love you right now, like I'll have you forever, but I don't know if I will. And so it's important to allow yourself to feel those emotions, I think. So then you're not just kind of going through it like a robot. I really believe we are about to see an awakening of an adoption movement, not just in America, but in the earth. I feel like people are beginning to see the need in a way where it's like, oh, this is a real need. And in my personal opinion, the church is the answer. And I don't mean a building. I mean people that are filled with God, that go, hey, I can be the answer to this. I can open my home. I can open my table. So yeah, the highs are everything you think they are. It's like you get a baby, it's amazing. And the lows are honestly just the moments where you have the crossroad in your heart of, whoa, there is a really big reality to this. And it could go so many different ways. So
Wow. Oh, well, thank you for sharing those vulnerable places. It's really amazing to hear from your perspective in the middle of this right now. It's really humbling. Thank you. Lindy, I'm really honored and excited to share your story. Thank you for taking the time out of your evening to do this with me.
Thank you. It was so fun. I so appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's interview. Please share this with a friend if it impacted you in any way, and leave a review on iTunes so other mamas can hear the truth, that they are enough and they are doing their very best. Be sure to catch up on what's happening in the Mommispace community every day on Instagram at Mommispace. And you can email me at mommispace@gmail.com for questions or interview recommendations. All my love to you, Mama. You're amazing. See you next week.
Your belongings in a bag, a new bed, a new room for your head. All is new, no answers quite yet. Here we go, here we go. The arms that hold you now bring a fire. The arms that hold you now bring a fire. A timely arrival will put your name on the door. I'll be the face you'll know as Mama for now. Here we go, here we go. The arms that hold you now bring a fire. The arms that hold you now bring a fire. The arms that hold you now bring a fire. The arms that hold you now bring a fire. And I won't let go if you won't let go. We're here right now together. You are mine and I am yours. We choose each other.